Honest Child here with Little Bird. Today we're going to tie a current story, that is a story in our lifetime in this arena, and take it all the way back to the 3,000-year-old scrolls. And this is the story about the holy dog. This story was related to me by Little Bird. He is a Celtic Native American Paiute that has combined beautifully the music of those two cultures and relates stories. And the story about the holy dog is when the Spaniards came, they left two gifts. One was the fiddle and the other was the horse. And the Plains Indians, the Blackfeet, and the Lakota had no name for a horse. They had not seen it, but the prophecy had been around for a long time that they would be receiving an animal they could ride. And the Blackfeet called the horse the medicine elk because it was big like an elk. But the Lakota called it the holy dog because this animal was big enough to carry not only them, but their goods, which they had been relying upon the dog to carry for them across the plains as they were nomadic and dry, dusty plains. You had to move about to find the food source. And so that is the modern day setting, and I encourage you to go to Arvel's website and listen to some of the stories. But we connect this back. Little Bird reminded me that she was there when the human kingdom was birthed. And so she was there in the desert when the story was heard. But in order to understand that holy dog story, we need to go back, all the way back to the first point of happy ear. And if you remember, that was in the scrolls of the 1800 BC, which was hated, translated Job. There was a happy ear. And then we go into the 1688 BC scrolls, and we see the intentions of the plural gods in the very first chapter are to build a lofty self-entity, an entity that will rule itself. And the plural gods called everything good and very good. This was the model, this was the pattern. Everything that we build is to be good and very good, and we're to see it that way. Well, then when we go forward in time, we see where the head fell from the flames of the east, the house being destroyed by the heat, and drank at the well of living water and produced plural gods that would hear. That was the hearing spoken into the womb of the mastership Egypt of the master kingdom that would be coming forth. And then we saw the story, we heard the story about the trickle of myrrh coming from the same place. They had flame of the east in the mountain being destroyed of God. The trickle of myrrh came down and produced a builder, a happy crowd. That happy crowd was also present at the birthing of the human kingdom. These called out, these troubled called out, we have the builder of the happy crowd again. Well, the story of that ties this together, the holy dog, takes place in the first driving a pasture. That would be translated Numbers. And this is a dry place. There is a promise that all of the dark hidden land, that land that was still humiliated, would be given to the human kingdom. And the men of war were to cross over the descender and scout out the land and bring back the report to the people. Well, a man of war isn't someone that goes out and fights other people. The man of war is the head that has matured. That's 20. It's the head that has matured and can see and hear the good report. So they crossed over and came back. And all but two, the house with good hearing, came back with a bad report. there's giants in the land, and they're going to kill us, and they're going to kill their children. They're going to eat us up. The two men of war, the head, the house with the good report, said, there's giant fruit in the land. It's good for us, and it's good for our children. Those are the only two men of war, a house of a head, that saw and heard a good report, that were allowed to survive. All the others perished. The only house of good hearing that was allowed to cross, plus all the children, the little ones, who had not yet come to a conclusion about giants in the land going to kill them, were going to come across. Well, the house that came across was the dog that was the builder of the be prepared, and the self-existent God that was the builder of perpetuity. And that house is the one that we see today in that prophecy of the something to ride. It was a good thing. The Native Americans saw that as a good thing. They saw it as a holy dog. And thus it is that our pen, there's only one pen, the human pen. And it's written on cave walls, animal skins, papyrus, books, stones, graffiti, sacred, profane, the web world. How many ways has our pen, this pen and this pen, made markings, made reports? Are we giving a good report to the community? Are we confessing that it's good fruit, all things are good, and it's good fruit, good for us and good for our children? Or is our pen, our tongue, spreading the bad report? Because that's what a man of war is about. It's a head that rules over its own ship. That's what the master kingdom is all about. We were birthed in the master kingdom, the master ship kingdom of Egypt, but we came out the master kingdom that is to rule over itself, to possess a head that sees good fruit. This is the holy dog. Holy simply means wholeness. And if our head is whole, and we see goodness, and we hear goodness, and we speak goodness, we are speaking the happy blessing upon the multitude of nations, and that is what will survive. That is the perpetuity that will continue into the future for future generations. If we are of the mindset that there's giants and they're going to kill us, then not only will that mindset die, but all of those that listen to that mindset will perish. So I hope that you've enjoyed this story that Little Bird helped piece together. Remember, the owl was the cup of Pharaoh that was poured out, that produced the master kingdom, the master ship that the master kingdom came out of. The master ship is Egypt. This is the master ship, heaven and earth. It is the red heifer sacrifice that's been cleansing us of all our stinking thinking forever. But there's a point in time when we have to accept that we are the master of our fate. We are the head that rules our ship, that we are the husband that tends the vineyard. May you find the giant fruit in the land, good to eat, and good for all the children that you are growing in your womb of creation. Bye for now. Hi. Little Bird reminded me that the human pen described a recurrence of that story of the holy dog and the men of war that perished And that was written in 1646 BC. In the place of the skull, translated Gilgal, where we have the story of crossing over and establishing cities of refuge on both sides of the descender, that starts in fresh headwaters but winds up in the Dead Sea if we don't find the cities of refuge on both sides.